With 7 centuries of history to draw on, Hever Castle forms a fabulous backdrop to any major cultural or sporting event. That's why in the 6 years since the Hever Castle Triathlon began, it's become such an essential race for so many British and international competitors. With 7,000 triathletes, young and old, quick and keen, all gathering here in Kent at the former home of Henry VIII's second wife, Anne Boleyn, we are all set for a triathlon feast fit for any royal sporting banquet. So here's your commentator Patrick Winterton with the menu of what's to come.
The Hever Castle Triathlon is the finale of the 2014 Castle Triathlon Series, now the largest triathlon series in the UK and Ireland. The 5-event series has a strong presence overseas with an event at Château de Chantilly in France, and this weekend at Hever 7,000 people will take part and 20,000 spectators will enjoy the spectacle of triathlon in this historic setting. The event features the world's largest children's triathlon with 2,000 taking part over the course of the weekend. For mums and dads and other grown-ups, there are distances from the super sprint to the half-iron gauntlet event, as well as the experts will be following the novices and the newbies of all ages. With so many taking part, the races will start in 47 waves over the weekend, depending on the distance that they've chosen. And it all starts with a swim in the lake fed by the River Eden, and some will be swimming in the River Eden itself. After transition, there's a bike ride on the roads of Kent, or a joust around the castle for the kids. And finally, the various run courses taking in the sights of Hever Castle and Chiddingstone Castle. There are relays for those just dipping their toes in the water, or not as the case may be, and there are elite events where some of Britain's best pros will take on foreign challengers. As well as the Olympic distance, there's the gruelling gauntlet where Commonwealth Games athletes will take on French Ironman stars like Victor Debilco and Cédric Lassonde. Defending champions Carol Bridge and Carl Alexander will face tough competition.
In the last 6 years, the Castle Triathlon Series has attracted elite triathletes from across Britain and around the world, with French and Australian athletes adding their names to a growing list of worthy winners. Our coverage of this year's Hever begins with the Olympic distance, and it promises to be a fast, fitting finale to the Castle Series. Scenic and challenging in equal measure, the course at Hever attracts the customary crop of young stars in 2014. Amongst them Sam Wade, an age group world champion and veteran of this series, if a 21-year-old can be considered a veteran. The Cardiff Met student had a big breakthrough with a podium finish at the London Triathlon in August. Some would put him as the favourite on the more ancient battleground here.
Oh, it's stunning. I mean, I've done a few of these over the years, and the sort of castle setting, the castle grounds, the lake, and some of the roads around here are just absolutely stunning. So, yeah, really looking forward to getting out on the course today.
His biggest rival is Mark Threlfall, a former outright winner of the Castle Triathlon Series.
Very tough courses, and it's just quite a relaxed atmosphere, yet very strong fields. So yeah, it tracks good fields, and that's why I come back each time. Strong races.
For those perhaps used to racing and riding in packs, there's no hiding place on this Hever course.
This is kind of the triathlon I enjoy doing, the non-drafting stuff, where it's all about you riding by yourself and time trialling. The appeal comes from more the settings than anything. Like, we went over to France and all the castles are really, really beautiful settings to do a triathlon in, which you don't get in many other races.
Elliot Smales is one to watch in a competitive field, floating in the Castle Lake for the start.
3, 2, 1.
1,500 metres of hard graft ahead for the triathletes. Spare a thought perhaps for the 800 workmen who dug the lake out by hand at the beginning of the 20th century. The soil from the lake making up the hill where they'll change over to the bike in transition. Carl Shaw leading the way in the men's competition, but there's quality in the women's race too. Rachel Hallam, second to Jackie Slack at Castle Howard, looking to go one better here.
I think the competition's even tougher today. We've got some people who competed in the Commonwealth Games racing. Yeah, so it could be interesting. If I can get a top podium again, that'd be good.
Hallam has work to do as India Lee leads the way in the women's race. With part of the swim taking place on the River Eden, it's a unique swim at Hever. The first and third stages of this triathlon are held within the boundary of the ancient castle grounds, but the bike course sees competitors take on 40 kilometres of Kent countryside, and that's where it can all change for those at the front. Let's join your commentator Patrick Winterton as they prepare to swap the swim for the saddle.
Approaching the loggia and the exit from the swim, where they'll also be swapping wetsuits for wheels and tired arms for tired legs. This is a crucial stage of the race. Mark Threlfall certainly trying to get the legs working in the last stages of the swim, and he's done well. Carl Shaw is out, Threlfall right on his heels. Callum Johnson out of the water. He's a very good runner, sub 15-minute 5k man, so if he's still with it after two phases, he could be a danger to the rest of the field. Only 4 seconds off the pace coming out of the water. Good run for him, or swim for him so far. Hazel is there. Sam Wade also in the top 5-6 positions after the first phase of this Hever Castle Triathlon. The second part of the race, of course, is the longest, 40 kilometres on the bike, and getting a good start position essential, although no drafting permitted in this race. That's a big difference from some of the World Series races we see. Sam Wade trying his best to catch up with the race leaders, 40 seconds off the pace coming out of the water. That is a big margin in this game, but without the drafting, it's less important, so he's still got a very good chance of getting in this race. Off with the wetsuit after such a long run out of the water. That little bit harder to get the wetsuit off, but he's away and clear. Now, here's the leader of the women's race, India Lee. Now, she's started with the men today, and she's obviously got onto a quick male swimmer because she's over a minute clear of the next best woman. So a really good swim from India Lee as we pick up on the leading man, Carl Shaw, on his own.
With a fine day in prospect, Shaw was pushing out plenty of watts in the early morning sun, extending his lead on his strongest discipline and overtaking athletes on other courses and races. Threlfall in second didn't look concerned. Callum Johnson was third, his finishing position in last year's National Sprint Distance Championships. The fast runner was well placed. Sam Wade was keeping his eye on him. Johnson returning the glances. Cagey stuff in the men's, but in the women's race, series newcomer India Lee was showing she's more than just a runner, building on her end-of-season success and extending her lead.
Last year was learning the ropes, and this year was getting to grips with it a bit more, and I was able to improve my training this year because I'm stronger, I'm a year stronger, I'm used to training for 3 disciplines rather than just one. So I think that's shown in my racing, and I'm stronger at the second half of the race now.
After finishing the 2-lap 40k course in just over the hour, Shaw was still the leading man turning back into the castle grounds. He was away and running before anyone else came into sight. How much advantage would he have? Let's rejoin commentary with Patrick.
Well, the last we got on Shaw, he was at least a minute and a half ahead, but now we're getting confirmation as Sam Wade comes into transition. Shaw has got a lead of 1:47 going into the run. And remember, the run, just 10,000 metres, 10 kilometres, so that's a really good advantage that he's got. Sam Wade is in, Mark Threlfall is in, and Callum Johnson not so far behind. That was Threlfall. This is Sam Wade, who has made up good ground after a slowish swim. Remember, he was 40 seconds off the pace of second place after the swim, so he's done well. And here's Callum Johnson. Watch this man. He's a very good runner indeed. Only 4 seconds behind after the swim. He's had a solid bike ride, not the best, but now he comes into the discipline where he is best. And this is the man that he's chasing, Carl Shaw with the lead, a man who coaches himself. This is going to be a real test of his own abilities and whether he's been doing the right thing over the last few months. He's got breathing space, but has he got enough?
So Carl Shaw heading out onto the run course with a slender advantage over the likes of Sam Wade, Mark Threlfall and Callum Johnson. But even though it's absolutely stunning here at Hever Castle, there's no time for the leaders to luxuriate in their royal surroundings. With so many twists, turns and trails still to come, there could be a very different order when they reach the finish line. Welcome back to Kent and the Hever Castle Triathlon. For the age groupers and club triathletes out on the course, it is perhaps the run which holds the most appeal, providing a rare opportunity to enjoy the stunning castle and its grounds. But for the elites vying for victory, this is simply a royal hunting ground for glory in the Castle series. So let's rejoin your commentary.
And you join us as the youngster Callum Johnson moves into the lead. He's overtaken Mark Threlfall, the veteran. He's overtaken Carl Shaw, who was leading at the start of the run. And he's now overtaken Sam Wade, an age group world champion from last year. So Johnson having an absolute flyer here at Hever Castle. And he looks reasonably comfortable with it. Good tempo on the bike, really good cadence, and he's keeping the legs moving nicely in the run as well. But I wonder what's going on in his mind. Sam Wade now fighting to hold on to second position, still running well. But it's Johnson who has the lead here at Hever.
Johnson didn't look back from that point, making light work of the opposition and the course to complete the run in an impressive 32 minutes, 13 seconds.
I thought I wasn't going to feel that strong on the run, but I think when you've got runners in front of you, and even the lapped runners, and you are getting a few time splits, it does help. And I just tried to pace it well, not go off too hard, and made sure I could finish strong. And it's really nice to come here and win. A bit of fun, and yeah, it's great.
It was second for Wade.
It's always nice to finish on a podium, you know. That's sort of a small goal I had today is to get on the podium, because you have so many good guys coming to these events that it's a really nice way to end the season.
Pete Dyson completed the men's podium. India Lee dominating the women's with a relaxed 36-minute 10K to top things off. Rachel Hallam was second, 7 minutes down on a very happy winner.
It's good fun out there. It's kind of difficult when we're in with the guys, because you're in the swim and you don't know who's around you, you don't know there's girls up ahead of you. And so once I got out of the water, I got the okay that I was in the lead, and so I just enjoyed myself.
Well, Brian's the man with his finger on the pulse as far as this race and this series is concerned. Brian, we've got to say, first of all, this just continues to expand and get bigger and better every year. You've got to be delighted at the direction in which this is all going.
Yeah, no, we're absolutely delighted. I mean, I was quite staggered by the numbers that we've had here today. A little bit scary at times, but no, really, really pleased. And it's not just the numbers of competitors, but actually people seem to be bringing more and more spectators as well. So we've had a very busy day.
Well, increased participation is great, and I guess sometimes you've got to come up with an initiative to entice people who might still be intimidated by a sprint distance. So what are you doing to get another section of the public into triathlon?
We've recognised that there are some people that, as you say, are still intimidated by the distances in our shortest race. So we're actually going to halve the distances in our shortest race and just call it a novice triathlon. So it's going to be a 200-metre swim, then a 10K cycle on the local roads, and then a 2K run at the end. We just want to get people into the sport. You know, it's a great sport. Let's get them involved and break down all of the barriers that maybe seem to be out there.
The numbers are up. Give us an idea as to where specifically you're seeing the surges of interest.
The kids' races again have doubled in size this year. We've gone from 1,200 children last year to just over 2,000 children this year, so we're really chuffed with that. We try and make sure that the kids have as good an experience as the adults, and we take the view that they're in a beautiful estate, it's a very safe environment to operate in, and they seem to have a brilliant experience along the way, so yeah, more of the same. We're also seeing that the Olympic distance and the half iron distance have grown in size, both of them to the tune of about 500 people. It seems to be having a bit more traction with the kind of more serious athletes, which is great. We ran the Bastion for the first time this year. It's a full iron distance event, and the feedback we got that they enjoyed not only the fact that it was a really stiff challenge, but also the fact that we managed to keep the personal touch that we provide to all of our races. So yeah, we're going to run again next year in July, and we hope it's going to become one of the stellar events on the full iron distance circuit.
It's not just the adults doing battle for the Castle Triathlon Series crown this weekend. There's a title to be won in the Children's Series too. Harry Cockcroft has done every race so far and is looking to wrap up the 8 to 10-year-olds category here. Well, the super sporty Cockcroft family know more than a thing or two about this Castle Series, and they're fit and raring to go. Let's start with you first of all, Jo. You've done them all so far.
I have so far. I've enjoyed them all, and I'm here for the final one at Hever, so I'm excited.
Harry, are you someone who excels on the bike and then you happen to put the swim and the run together, or do you like all three?
Well, I like the bike the most, but the swim is my least favourite.
So Simon, you've been the backup support, and today you actually get to take part in your own right.
You know, I enjoy the backup role. It's a good role, actually. It's fun and rewarding to watch them all do the races, but I thought I ought to do one, so this is it.
Well, the most important thing, of course, is to have plenty of fun, which I know you all will, so very best of luck to each of the three of you in your respective races, and we'll see you at the finish. While Harry waits in the wings, Dad Simon, racing in the Sprint Plus, is first away, followed shortly by Jo in the shorter super sprint distance event. Jo's an experienced triathlete, but with 40% of the field on day one being women, there are plenty of rookies too. Marianne Rance and daughter Elise, who will be taking part in the 8 to 10-year-olds race, will be making it a family affair. Now, Marianne, why have you two decided to come and have your first go at swim, bike, run here at Hever?
Well, Elisa's best friend's Amelie and her mother Kirsten convinced us to take part as a foursome.
Is there any rivalry between the two sets of mother and daughter?
Absolutely not, because Kirsten's far fitter than I am, so she's going to do really well. And Elise is raising money for the museum I work for, which is the Foundling Museum in London.
Kirsten White has two daughters in the event, Caitlin racing in the seniors and Amelie also in the 8 to 10s. How impressed have you been with Marianne? Because she's here for the first time. I think she's a little bit nervous, but I reckon she'll get round and enjoy this Hever experience.
2 months ago I said, hey, do you want to do a triathlon with me? And she's like, yeah, okay. And just the commitment she's put over the last month to try and get there and to turn up today is a massive feat in itself. Just well done to her.
The ladies are racing super sprint distance, taking part in one of two women-only waves here. The triathlon press are represented in the all-female swims too.
Well, I think one of the unique things about triathlon is we get to come and enjoy places in a way that nobody else can. So, we get to swim in the lake, we get to bike in these beautiful areas, we get to run around the grounds. A lot of people are coming along here with mountain bikes, they've got kind of beginner level kit, this may be their first race they're doing, and a lot more family friendly, so there's a lot to do here at the event as well. But I also think the great thing about this weekend is you've got every distance, from a kind of a super sprint that's quite beginner friendly to the gauntlet, which is, a middle distance race. And there's something for everybody here, which really helps, I think.
We don't know if he's the fastest of the Cockcroft boys, but Simon's relieved to set out on the bike after his first discipline. And the experienced Helen's all smiles exiting the water. Debutante Marianne is happy too, and a bit relieved.
Very cold. Very, very cold.
A bit dippy, but great fun.
Simon's pushing a big gear.
How you getting on? All right, Ashley. Bike's fine. It was the swim I was worried about, but that's over now.
How you getting on, Helen?
I'm good, yeah, fine, thank you. It's nice, looking cool, beautiful, so yeah, good.
The triathlon media are represented amongst the men too.
It's a fantastic race. One of the best swims I've ever done. This is a must-do race, I'm telling you. Brilliant.
Richard Campbell's racing is part of the Brighton Triathlon Club Championships, with his clubmates hosting their annual in-house battle here. There were more internal affairs in the corporate waves, companies bringing along all abilities, from the cheerful first-timers to the seasoned weekend warriors. South London-based Windrush Triathlon Club are here too, bringing a large and sometimes loud contingent as they hold their end-of-season race at Hever. First of the speedy Cockcrofts home, Simon completes the Sprint Plus in a very respectable 2 hours 21. Well, Simon, this is your first experience of competing in one of the Castle series. What did you make of it being on the other side of the fence?
Well, it was good. I knew what to expect, obviously, from watching everybody else, but I hadn't done an open water swim before. So I was concerned about that, but that went okay. The run hurt a bit. There was a steep hill, and that killed. But other than that, it was okay.
His wife Jo's going well too. Very competitive in her age group.
How you getting on, Jo?
Yeah, alright. Tough.
Marianne's not so ambitious on her debut, and she'll need to overcome some mechanical issues before she steps it up a gear.
I can't change my gears at the moment, which is a real problem.
Go, go, go.
Meanwhile, some of those taking part in the Super Sprint relays are setting out on the 4K run. Amongst them, Hever Castle Chief Executive Duncan Leslie, racing for the Hever Castle team. The headman's showing he's prepared to get sweaty with the rest of the workforce on his tour of the grounds. The rest of our cast appreciating his efforts in keeping it all looking great as they head for the finish, even when they come to what race director Brian Adcock likes to call a cheeky little hill just 400 metres from that finish line.
It's a great atmosphere, loads of people to race with, people of all abilities, just kind of cheering each other on, and the marshals are fantastic as well.
And the run is just amazing. It's just through the fields. It's gorgeous, gorgeous run. Yeah, recommend it.
Only a few minutes off the podium places in the Super Sprint, Jo Cockcroft's got to be happy.
It's great to do the whole series. I've really enjoyed it. It's been great for the family. And we've got around the country and used it as our holidays, actually, so it's been wonderful.
With a speedy run from Duncan, the Hever Castle relay team finished strongly.
I'm glad to have done it, and there's a sense of achievement, which is, I guess, what a lot of people are here for, to get that sense of achievement.
Definitely that for Kirsten, Marianne and Caitlin, running in with the smallest family members.
Really tricky on the cycle because I couldn't change gears, which is a little bit of a problem in those hills. And it meant that my legs did suffer a bit in the run. I was trying to do 1:45 and I think I just missed it by 2 minutes.
Oh, it's so beautiful. The whole run going over, there was waterfalls, there was streams, it was incredible.
It's a really great one for starters, and of course it's a great one, the fact that we were putting waves together with our friends, so we can, cheer each other on, we can see each other on course, and better still, this afternoon I have my younger daughter racing, so now I get to relax and cheer her on.
Hever Castle is the world's largest children's triathlon. 2,000 7 to 15-year-olds will race this weekend. Are you going to be competitive, or are you getting each other round? Are you going to be teammates?
We're going to be teammates.
Well, for the swimming and cycling, I think we stay together, but for the running, I think we'll go off.
Wow! So it's all teamwork until the third and final discipline, and then it's every woman for herself.
Yeah.
You've seen some of the scenes as they cross the finish line. It's a sight to behold, and they are really, really chuffed with themselves. And for the parents as well, it's a big moment for them to kind of release their little youngsters into our very capable hands and send them off on this this challenge, quite an arduous challenge around a castle. It's fantastic. I've had loads of people email me in and say it's their best dad moment, their best mum moment of their life. I think it affects everybody.
Elise and Amelie are here for the experience, while Harry Cockcroft has been straining at the leash to get on course and is soon leading the field for the 8 to 10s, all set for that series victory. The series builds links with schools as well as the families who travel to take part.
It's called the Tri Nights programme. It's been a huge success this year for primary schools. Something like 2,000 schools have already downloaded it and are using it as a resource. We're developing it for secondary schools. We think there will be a big take-up.
Harry gets round the 100-metre swim, 4K bike and 1,300-metre run in 26 minutes 16, seemingly at full tilt all the way, but with plenty left in the tank at the finish. Was that the hardest one of the series so far?
Yeah, probably one of the hardest, with the hills and all of the different temperatures of the air and the water.
Elise and Amelie split up on the other disciplines and finished together. The opposite of the plan, but still friends. Great celebration at the end. I saw you blowing the flower and making sure you came across the line together. Would you do it again?
I loved it. It was really fun.
Oh, well done. Go and get a nice bit of chocolate and a drink and see you next year. Well, this is the most enthusiastic group of finishers we've had so far. How old are you?
7 turning 8 next Monday.
And how much did you enjoy that?
A lot. And I tried my best.
Well, there are always some great images and stories here at the Hever finish line, and a few of these children are hopefully kick-starting a lifelong relationship with the sport. And those who stick around may well be able to pick up a tip or two from the leading pros as thoughts turn to the biggest challenge of the weekend. It's time for the toughest to tackle the gauntlet. Welcome back to the Hever Castle Triathlon. Early morning here in Kent, and thoughts are gathering ahead of the gruelling journey to come, because the next wave is reserved for the longest event on the programme, and with two great elite fields lined up in the men's and women's races, we're expecting some cracking action in the challenge they call the Gauntlet. The first wave of the second day of the event and the Gauntlet gets underway at a moody 8 a.m, with a second wave at 8:30 bringing the total competitors to 650, with a 1,900-metre swim, 90k bike and 21k run to come. The elites are in wave 1, and amongst the best of British here is Welshman Liam Lloyd. It's a step up in distance for the GB Performance Squad member.
Confidence is quite boosted, yeah, from the Commonwealth. It was just such a great experience, you know, just be there quite young and experience such an international competition.
Plenty of that at Hever too. The French have always sent a strong contingent to the Castle Triathlon Series. Victor Debilco was on the podium here last year and 8th at Ironman UK, so his form is good. Bienvenue, welcome back, Victor. This year you're stepping up to Gauntlet.
Yes. Last year I do the Olympic race, and this year it's for the Gauntlet. I prefer long distance, and I love this race because it's very sympathetic and beautiful. The weather is a little bit cold, but the way is beautiful.
The women's event too will be hard fought. Catherine Jameson and Carol Bridge are both veterans of the Castle Triathlon Series, but the Welshwoman has the advantage over the middle distance. Well, Carol, it must always be nice to come back to the scene of a great triumph, and here you are, 12 months on, defending champion.
Yes, it's great to come back, but obviously then there's more pressure. You feel that you're the one to beat, so from that respect it's a bit scary coming back as defending champion. Thousands of children that do it is awesome, and then you've got like some elite racing like Catherine and people like myself, not that I'm really elite, racing against people who are new to the sport, and it's a beautiful location. I love the run course because it's all off-road and, you know, different to a lot of the runs that you do. Yeah, it'll be good, I think. I think it'll be close between all of us top girls, to be honest.
Well, you'd expect a defending champion to bring a good cheerleading force from back home, but Carol Bridge hasn't just brought a cheerleading force, she's brought her sister Christina and her dad Cliff to come along and have a go in the relay. So there's real bragging rights at stake here. Now, be honest, even with the three of them, plus your brother who's going to do the cycle to complete the trio, even with them on top form, you still beat them, don't you?
I hope so, yeah. I mean, I train really hard and she's a leisurely runner. And he swims hard in the pool, but he's never done open water swimming. So I think I got a good chance, yeah.
He probably beat Carol in the swim, but then the other two will probably let me down towards the end.
I think the odds are in her favour, but we'll go down fighting.
Despite Cliff's apparent confidence, Carol would be looking out for her solo race rivals, Catherine Jameson and the South African Tracy Markham, on the first discipline. Let's join your commentator Patrick Winterton for the start.
Well, let's have a reminder of the distances. 1,900 metres in the water gets this race underway. They'll then switch to the bike, 90 kilometres, and finish off with a half marathon, which is 21 kilometres around the grounds of Hever Castle. Well, those who've signed up for the long distance are underway. And despite the fact that they're going to be out there for over 4.5, 5 hours, the first 200 metres will be flat out. And you've just got to live with the pace and then hopefully find the feet of someone who swims just that little bit quicker than you do to help you round the first phase. It's a one-lap course up the end of the lake, and then they'll switch to the left and find the entrance to River Eden, and that will meander its way back down towards the loggia. And what a start from Catherine Jameson. She's leading the entire field. Beautifully smooth swimmer. She's got Liam Lloyd a couple of metres behind, but certainly not in the slipstream. And Jameson's had a sensational start. Now some 5 or 6 metres clear of her nearest rival, or the nearest competitor, which is a man, and I think she's got at least 35-second lead over the next woman. So a brilliant start. Look how smooth she is. Long reach, the elbow stays high, little rotation of the body. Someone who's been well trained from an early age and doing a lot of work with the feet as well, which is slightly surprising at this stage of a triathlon. But she sets the pace, and already the field well spread in the early stages of the swim.
Liam Lloyd was soon on the shoulder of Jameson and moving into the lead. But it had been a strong start from the leading lady, who was also increasing her racing range here. She'd won the Olympic distance event here last year, but was ready to take on the big one in 2014.
This is actually my first half distance race, so I don't quite know how it'll go. I've done all the Olympic distance at the other races this year, and they've been really good, really successful.
No more men would pass her on the swim down the River Eden, while at the front of the pack, Lloyd was showing his pedigree and pulling away. Another notable Welshman, Cliff Bridge, was coming second in the family challenge so far, but was somewhere in the melee and going well. Let's rejoin commentary with Patrick Winterton.
With the water maze on their left, the swimmers coming towards the end of the swim, and they're going to feel they've been in a water maze of their own when they complete the circumnavigation of 16-acre island and head back towards the loggia and prepare for transition number 1 from the water to the roads. And this is a stage of the race where it gets very serious indeed. No drafting permitted, just as we saw in the Olympic race. And so you are on your own. Out of the water comes Craig Twigg. Liam Lloyd's had a really good swim. He's certainly got the potential to win here today, but he's got some tough competition, particularly from abroad. Carol Bridge in second place in the women's event. There's Liam Lloyd, who's been quickest up the walkway from the lakeside up towards his bike position. It's never easy to find your bike with so many. A psychedelic towel certainly wouldn't be a bad idea to help identification. Here's Catherine Jameson, the first of the women out of the water. What a swim she had, only overtaken by Liam Lloyd in the closing stages. She's given herself a decent advantage at the start of the bike ride, but she's got 90 kilometres to go, so a minute's lead perhaps not that significant. And it's a tough bike ride as well, they all know that. The best of the French perhaps, Victor Delcourt, quality performer, third in the Olympic distance here last year, and he's proven over the long distance as well. He finished a very creditable 8th in the Ironman UK this year. And there he goes ahead of Catherine Jameson, who would be advised not to try and stay with the Frenchman, just race your own pace. And here is Delcourt's compatriot, the London-based Frenchman Cédric Lassonde, going past Craig Twigg. It's going to be interesting to see how Lassonde gets on. This race has not been in his plans for long.
Kind of a last-minute decision. I have a World Champ of Xterra next month. The last race I did was a month ago, Ironman Japan, so that kind of fitted in. I had a few friends doing it, so I just had a last-minute light in my head, and I'm gonna do it. It looks cool. Yeah.
The two Frenchmen, both proven over the long-distance triathlons, and they're both very good at off-road running, so it bodes well for them as they chase down Liam Lloyd. Here is Carol Bridge, who's trying to chase down the leader in the women's race, Catherine Jameson. The nurse from the Ronda is well ahead of her father, Cliff, just coming out of the water, involved in a family relay. He'll be handing over to son Michael, there he is, and going at a somewhat more leisurely pace, although they had threatened to beat Carol between them.
I think a couple of seconds here is going to make much difference. She don't crash, I'm in trouble.
I think that could be the case. Carol still looking strong out on the bike. Just needs to stay focused, and focused on catching this woman, Catherine Jameson, who leads the women's race. Oh, there's a drop train. That could cost her a few seconds. Now, how good are her drills? It's not complicated, but you just need to stay calm. The seconds ticking away, and Carol Bridge getting ever closer. Well, no damage done, it seems, in terms of positions, but that 35, 40-second loss could well prove expensive at the end of the day. But for now, Catherine Jameson holds on to the lead, and she's got 70 kilometres to go here in the gauntlet at Hever Castle.
Welcome back to the Hever Castle Triathlon. So far, this royal corner of Kent has seen competitors ranging in age from 7 to 83, all taking part in what is without doubt a festival of triathlon, now thriving into its 6th year. The climax of the weekend is the event they call the Gauntlet, and we're waiting for the competitors to finish the 90k bike ride and head back here towards the castle grounds for the 13.1 mile run. So let's rejoin your commentator Patrick Winterton and find out who's in charge.
Liam Lloyd is the man who is the race leader, 2 minutes clear of everyone else coming out of the water after a brilliant swim, but the two Frenchmen behind him are closing down rapidly. And the two Frenchmen still very close together, but it's Cédric Lassonde who holds second place at the moment, just 30 seconds behind Liam Lloyd of Wales. So they just about have visual with the race leader. But Catherine Jameson, the leading woman, has the road to herself, it seems. Good effort so far. Certainly a brilliant swim.
How's it going?
All right. Not feeling too well.
She certainly doesn't look too happy, and that is a major concern for her supporters. Carol Bridge in second place, just 49 seconds behind, and she is closing fast on Jameson, so the order at the front could be about to change. Tracy Markham, 7:23. It sounds a lot, but she's certainly not out of it yet.
How you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's so beautiful out here. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
Do you have a strategy?
Yes, survive on the bike and hopefully have a good run.
So are you feeling confident about the run? How are you feeling about the run?
Feeling good about the run. I like the off-road. The trails suit me. So we'll see.
Big smiles from the South African. She's come a long way and looks to be enjoying herself out there in third place at the moment. Now this is the two Frenchmen, and Victor Debelco going past Cedric Lasson without any trouble at all, and he puts on another little burst, pushes up the cadence. Not a word exchanged between the two of them. And this is the man they're chasing, Liam Lloyd. Now his cadence is up around 100, 110. That takes a lot of training to be able to keep that going, but it is the most efficient way to ride. And Lloyd in the sights now of Victor Debelco, the Frenchman eating up the tarmac. Just getting into the slipstream, he needs to move wide. Remember, no drafting allowed in this race. And through he goes. A look over his shoulder just to say, match me if you can. And it seems that Liam Lloyd has no chance. So France now leading, and they've got a very good record in this Hever Castle event. Now I wonder if Catherine Jameson is feeling any better. Her spike doesn't sound too good.
I'm not well, my stomach's killing.
Well, that's really disappointing for Jameson. Perhaps the fluid she's taken in, but it's an opportunity for Carol Bridge. She looks so determined. That distinct style on the bike, and through she goes, the defending champion into the lead here in the Hever Castle Triathlon. There's still a long way to go. Remember, a half marathon at the end of the bike ride. And into transition comes the leading man, Victor Debelco of France. 2 down, 1 to go, a half marathon remaining for the leader.
Victor Debelco had a 2-minute lead in transition 2, setting out onto a run course he knows pretty well with a confident and determined step. He'd put almost 3 minutes into Liam Lloyd at the start of the run. Lloyd was just 2 minutes ahead of Cedric Lasson. The former track runner would be looking to pick off those in front and would have the Welshman in his sights first. The French didn't get much success against the British in the days when Hever Castle was built, but it was looking different in 2014, and after a lap of the run, Victor was looking strong and defending his lead. In a race that at one time had 2 Welsh leaders, it was taking a turn for the worse for both. Carol Bridge going the wrong way early on in the run stage and dropping to 3rd. By the time she got back on course, she was looking at completing significant extra distance on the run, but could she still win? She was certainly ready to take on the challenge. But for now, this handed a lifeline to the ailing Catherine Jameson, who retook the lead. Though her mental battle would get even tougher when Tracy Markham took her place at the front. Eventually, Catherine bowed to the inevitable, pulling out and walking back to transition after a brave effort. The hot weather wasn't helping. The women's race was turning into a war of attrition, with Tracy Markham struggling to keep her pace and dropping back down to 3rd, with Carol Bridge on the comeback trail moving into 2nd here. Markham's drop in tempo had already allowed Maria Powell, in the black and yellow tri-suit here, to seize her opportunity and the lead in what had been a well-paced run. But Carol Bridge wasn't ready to give up the gauntlet yet. With a few miles to go, she was still giving everything to run down the leader and defend her title. Could she do it? In the meantime, the men's race was coming to an end. Let's rejoin commentary with Patrick.
So it looks as though the French are going to claim yet another victory here at Hever Castle. Remember, one of the series of 5 races taking place at Château de Chantilly in France. And here he comes down the finishing straight. And he takes the race winner's banner in style. Cedric Lasson in 2nd, looks a little displeased with that, but it's a fantastic effort. And Dan Bigham in 3rd place. An astonishing run from him to get himself on the podium.
Yeah, it was a tough race. It was very difficult because the water was very cold, but I made a very good bike and the run was perfect. It's a very great victory It's a very good, very big race, and very great victory. I'm very happy.
Never comfortable on the bike. I kind of blew up at the end of the first lap trying to follow Victor. I hadn't seen the course, I didn't have the legs. The legs came back on the run, fortunately. But yeah. I love the course, but it was hard for me.
We've had surprise after surprise in the women's event. Jameson's led, Markham's led. We've also had Carol Bridge, the defending champion, in front. But it's going to be the 47-year-old Maria Powell, the European age group champion from last year, who takes the title here in Hever Castle. A huge surprise, a brilliant performance.
I'm absolutely delighted. I'm stunned. It's my first time doing this race. There's a lot of really, really good girls in the field, and I just did my thing today. It's beyond my wildest dreams.
Second place for Carol Bridge.
I'm quite pleased and proud that I finished today, because when I realised I'd gone the wrong way, it would have been so easy to drop out, because I didn't know what position. I thought I've lost about 20 minutes. And I was finding it tough today, so I just thought, oh, shall you just finish or drop out? And I thought, no, finish, that's what you should do.
And the South African Tracy Markham has made her mark here today with third place.
I would have liked to have done better than third, but having seen the course and having experienced it, I'd take finished. That is brutal. It is a brutal course.
Well, Carol Bridge may have had to settle for second today, but she's soundly beaten the rest of her family members who teamed up, Cliff, Michael and Christina.
Last lap, Christina, how you feeling?
It's not so fun anymore. I could do with a lift now, especially knowing Carol's finished and sitting down.
It's all in the mind. The last 50 metres won't be too bad for Christina Bridge.
The course was really beautiful, hillier than I was expecting. I was trying to concentrate on the scenery and not my legs. I think we all know we need to do a bit more training, and then we'll be back next year, hopefully in a bit fitter shape.
Cannot wait. I'm already planning the plan of attack for next year. I think everybody should come and do it.
So congratulations to our gauntlet winners, Victor Debilco and Maria Powell. France, South Africa, Wales, England, all getting on the podium. But it's really about the 7,000 athletes that have taken part. And there'll be that many stories about a great weekend and how they conquered the Hever Castle Triathlon.
What a wonderful weekend in a wonderful setting. Once again, this Hever Castle Triathlon has delivered on every single level. More participation in the children's races, great elite encounters over the Olympic and gauntlet distances, and exciting plans for the future. That wraps up this year's Castle Series. We look forward to you joining us for more drama in 2015. In the meantime, bye-bye for now.